Hello, and welcome to the Liquidity event. We're your hosts, AJ.
And I'm Shane Mason.
And this is episode 100, ladies and gentlemen, being recorded on Wednesday, June 28th, airing Friday, June 30th. June 30th? July 1st? What's Friday? Have we switched
June 30th.
June 30th. Nailed
Yes.
it. Nailed it. How you doing, Shane?
I'm awesome. I have a calendar pulled up here to fact check my co-host, Miss Ayers, who apparently the two of us have both lost track of time and space because we're 8 time zones apart?
It's 8:21 p.m. in London town right now. I don't know where you are, which, you know what that means? It's actually Liquidity event time. This is the first time in many months that I've actually been able to drink on this podcast. So for those of you not watching the video, I am holding up a can of Teeny T's Dirty Martini. Oh, the UK, just such a civilized country. You can get a real, not a malt beverage, a real martini in a can. And the ingredients are vodka, dry vermouth, and olive brine. And I've got my hotel wine glass with my Castelvetrano olives. And I'm going to pour myself a dang martini to celebrate our 100th episode. Good for us.
That was quite a detailed description for the people not on the video. Nothing was left to the imagination there.
Whoop,
Besides,
there we go.
Our two video locales, our backgrounds are both quite trash today, I would say. What is going on?
Trash. Oh yeah, I have
Yes.
there's like a cube kitchen. There's like a
That's obviously your hotel because everything is all over the place. Is Nabil there? Nabil's not there.
Nabil may or may not be interrupting us.
He will be returning home to clean the fuck up any minute now. Hey, it's only 1:20 where I am, so but I'm on vacation. I should have got a beer. Oh, we didn't do our prep work.
What are you doing?
Didn't do our goddamn prep work.
No one did any homework. Well, cheers, man.
What's new?
It's been real hosting 100 of these with you, or 99.
To our last episode. El último episodio de
Liquidity. Amazing. Well,
you're not allowed to start Spanish phrases anymore. Only I can start them because every time you start them, you say the most bonkers shit I don't know how to respond to. You're like, have you jump roped next week? I'm like, what?
Well, did you know,
that.
listeners, that my Spanish gets 36% better with each martini that I have. So by the end of this episode, I will be fluent. Speaking of this episode, we're going to do something a little bit different than we usually do. There have been some headlines, but we're not going to talk about them this week. We are going to run through the 100 things that we have done to level up our business and our lives.
Just to timestamp this episode in case someone's listening to it 5 years in the future, which assuredly somebody will be.
Obviously. The Smithsonian, assuredly.
They have just recovered pieces of the missing Titanic submarine, the tourist vessels, and they're lifting them out of the water. So if you remember the viral sensation that was the billionaire's Titanic submarine trip to the bottom of the ocean, which... there
all right,
you are.
before we get into it, can we just do a quick...
Tragic accident, for the record.
Quick. What was your favorite Titanic submarine exploration meme?
Oh, God. Put me on the spot.
I'll go first. Okay, mine was the chart that showed Titanic deaths. It was like 1906, and then the little blip for 2023.
My favorite was the Spotify showing... how many people had played Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On. And also the caption was, none of us are going to heaven.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Oh, my God. None of us see in heaven.
Oh, man. That was good.
I already knew that about myself, but it was good to see so many other dark souls out there.
Well, anyways, those are all the headlines for the week. So let's dive into this evergreen episode of, what have we done in our business and our lives to level up? In no particular order, right? We've been making this list for the past week, just kind of dropping stuff in a G sheet. I say we just rip through it.
Yeah, I think we've got about 40 items here. I doubt we get through all of them.
There's 100. What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't scroll down. Let me scroll down here.
There's definitely 100.
For sure. 100%. Yeah. So we're just going to pick at random. We're going to see when we run out of time, just see kind of like where the conversation goes, what's really been a huge impact on our business and our lives, right? Personal lives
Indeed.
as well. Yeah. Okay,
Indeed.
Cool. Why don't you start us off with a ripper? One of the best things that you think.
Ripper. Ooh. Oh, we're not going in order. We're going all around the world.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'll strike them through as we go.
All right. I'm going to go with life planning for both ourselves and teaching our financial planners how to do life planning with our clients. Life planning, the George Kinder method of basically going through a series of questions that I guess force you to determine what makes you happy and if you should make any changes in your life to achieve happiness. And you and I both went to a workshop with Mr. George Kinder in Hawaii, like a month before COVID started. We got life planned by some really special people and basically optimized our lives to become better, happier people. And I would say we both succeeded pretty well. Like mission accomplished, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. My life planning involved getting a boat, buying a sailboat. Life goal of mine, spent $30K on a big boy actually, and then learned that sailing is a full-time fucking job, and I don't do that anymore. But it's time to re-life plan me. AJ, what are the 3 questions? Give us the 3 questions off the top of your head. Can you still miss RLP?
Of course.
Okay, great.
The first question, paraphrase is basically, imagine money. Imagine you have all the money in the world. Money is no object. Design a life that is rich and full and uniquely yours, right? So just, money, all the money in the world, what do you do with your life? The second question is, okay, great. Now you have that in your head. A lot of people say I'd work less. I'd see my family more. I'd travel. I'd see the world. I'd become a stand-up comedian. Like a bunch of things come up in that first question. The second question is, you go to your doctor, you go to visit the doctor, and the doctor has some bad news, and he says, you're going to die in the next 5 to 10 years. You'll have no notice of the moment of your death, but it is coming. Are you going to change your life? What are you going to do to improve your life in this time that you have left? So then you go, oh God, all right, I really got to make some changes here because I'm not living my fullest life and I have a really short amount of time to do it. And then the third question is, go to the doctor. A doctor says you have 1 day left to live. Tomorrow is your last day on earth. How do you feel? What changes would you have made? And that's really when, cast things into light. And most people just say, spending more time with the people I love. So those are those 3 questions. They've been really effective for me personally. And then really, I think for all of our clients, we've had a few major life changes as a result of these questions, for the better, I would say. Hell
yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what my answers would be.
We could do a whole episode on life planning, but we have 99 more things to get through. So give us one, Shane.
For sure. 99 minus 99 level
Don't
ups
try to match
on the wall.
99 problems, but George Kinder ain't one.
Life plan isn't one. Yeah. All right. I'm actually going to list one that's not on here, actually. I would go with the ideology of essentialism as one of the best things. Both, I'm trying to think of something both for your business life and your personal life. The idea of essentialism. There's a cool little book about it, about how if something is not essentially a hell yes, then you just need to move on with your life, which is especially helpful for entrepreneurs because you get constantly bombarded with opportunities and offers, whether it's to hire somebody or to purchase a piece of software or to attend a conference or to bring on this certain client or to open up this new line of service or to travel somewhere because somebody suggested it and they want you to go along with it. Whatever it is that is offered to you. When you have the power of the purse strings of a multi-million-dollar company, people are constantly bombarding you with offers or requests.
So weird. No one ever reaches out to me.
Yeah, sure. Right. So there is really not a problem of having not enough to accomplish or not enough to do, but really a problem of focus. So you can get easily distracted by shiny objects, both in your personal life and your business life. So whether that's new relationships, new things you can purchase, new destinations, new employees, like I said, in your business, whatever it is, if it's not a hell yes, like you're not, 95% hell yes, like I need to do this, then you need to leave it alone so that you can stay focused. I would say that we're getting better and better at it. We still tend to get distracted. I think you and I both have an IDS on our plate right now around joining this network of international accountants. That's not a hell yes, that we're kind of juggling, just the first thing that comes to mind. So it just really helps with decision making. I mean, you and I are the other item on this list is about our partnership, for sure, has been a level up for our lives. which is a which is a spoiler alert for a later level up that we'll discuss. But it's been super helpful. Like you and I are already really good at making decisions, and it's really helpful for us to also have that additional tool of essentialism to say if it's not a hell. Sometimes you need to be reminded about it. Like you want to do something, but your partner needs to come and say that's not really essential, or like
I think
obvious hell yes.
Part of the partnership is that I think both of us struggle with this. We both want to be better at it, but we really bounce off, like we really rely on the other person to help us with this, right? Mm-hmm. It's really hard to do essentialism on your own, but having someone say like, hey, let's take a step back. This is not a hell yes for me. That makes you second guess your own decision because we trust each other. So if I'm excited about something and it's not a hell yes from you, I'm going to really respect your opinion and think about why it was a hell yes for me and then come to a better decision. Funny story, last night I was at a wine bar with some friends and they were like, what should we order? And someone handed me the menu and I literally just like pushed it away and I was like, I have made too many decisions today. I have made too many decisions. I cannot make a decision. You order the food, you order the wine. I will eat whatever you put in front of me. Yeah. And I think that's part of being an entrepreneur is like you make these, and they could be little tiny decisions like how to word an email, which could have a big impact, or huge decisions of whether to hire a person who's going to, run your entire staff. Like it's very entrepreneurs. We need all these tools that we're going to talk about to make us like in our best fighting shape to be the best leaders that we can be, which is really what this list is about, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, right on. I just reminded me of something else, but we'll have to circle back to that after your next choice here.
All right, what are we going to do here? I'm going to give us an easy one here. I'm going to go Delta Lounge Access.
Oh, hell yeah, baby.
This is
nice little layup.
Little, I would say, both business and life upgrade. We travel a lot. Getting to the airport and having a quiet place that has fast Wi-Fi, free drinks, and free food is huge when you're spend as much time in airports as we do.
There's free food and Wi-Fi there?
Shut up.
Damn.
Shane only knew about the free drinks, apparently. That was a good one. You're on it today.
Oh, yeah. I'm on vacation, baby. I'm fresh. Fresh out of the ocean, ready to
all
zing.
All the yolks for Mr. Mason. All right, Mr. Mason, give us another level up.
I'm going to give you another ideal, which is kind of stolen from Amazon, made this really popular, which is the kind of rolling off of the disagreeing or the having to commit to decisions, and you and I having things that we see as shiny objects and needing assistance from each other. And you're making a ton of decisions every day as an entrepreneur, and sometimes you need heuristics and ways to get across the finish line. And sometimes you're not going to have consensus on something. But what you do need to have when you are making decisions is, even if you don't get consensus from your directors, which I think we're going to talk about that as another item on the list here, is hiring people, like delegating to directors of different departments has been a big level up for us in the business. But you're not always going to agree with them, especially when you give them true autonomy. But you do need to commit to whatever decision that they come up with or your business partners come up with. So the ideal of disagreeing and committing, as made famous by the Amazon folks, where Jeff Bezos is famous for putting a lot of wood behind this arrow, especially when you're growing so quickly, is even if you're not happy with the result, you as a team need to commit to the strategy that you're going to deploy. And that commitment that you get from everybody is where you get results. So, I mean, even in your personal life, like if you're just like, look, I don't need to make the decision, like I might even disagree with the decision that we're making. I guess we're going to whitewater raft this river instead of chilling by the pool all day, but I'm going to commit to making this a good time for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, flatbreads were ordered. I would have preferred kebabs, but you know what? I ate the flatbreads and they were great. Yeah, let's talk about let's talk about bringing on the directors. Earlier, not this year, in mid 2022, we brought on an executive team. It used to be Shane and I making all the decisions. Just us, the two of us in a room, sometimes with a business coach. And then we brought on directors of tax, planning, operations, and outsourced accounting. And so now we have great decision makers in the room with us who we trust, and they really run the show. We offer our support. We still make some pretty high level decisions, but they have the autonomy to do things. They have the autonomy to hire people. And that has been a major, major level up, I think, for our quality of life and for the success and health of the business. Taking you and I out of, managing employees and elevating us to kind of sitting above the forest, being able to see the forest from the trees. I got that one right? Yeah, cool.
For
Just
once,
checking.
yeah, wow. Did you hear, dear listener, that was an idiom that AJ
correct
is notoriously... AJ is autistic in a few ways, but specifically in idioms is one of her weak points.
Can't be good at everything, folks. Can't be good at everything.
I love that response. Anytime you're not good at something, that's the best response. Can't be good at everything, buddy.
So shout out to our directors for crushing it and continuing to learn along with us in this journey. We trust you with our lives and our business, really. So, all right, you get one. Give us an easy one.
Speaking of great comebacks, I have a no-brainer for the week, and this is something I've picked up on by accident recently. I tend to leave things behind whenever I move from place to place. I always leave stuff from behind, and it's embarrassing. Like, I'll leave my wallet somewhere and I'll have to circle back for it, or my phone or my laptop or whatever. I was at a conference and I set my laptop by the sink, and I'm like looking at it, but somebody walks up to it and goes, "Oh, is this your laptop?" And I'm like, "Yeah, do you want it?" They're like, oh no. No. So if somebody ever points out that you left something behind, or like they try to make you feel guilty for not being diligent about your things, just say, "Yeah, do you want it?" Okay, so moving on.
You can't be good at everything, folks.
You can't be good at everything. And, you spend all your days in the clouds thinking about great business ideas. You're not really paying attention to if your shoes are tied or not. All right, folks? All right. All right, I'm going to go with
That's why we wear
thing.
Vans. Anyway.
That's why I've transitioned to Birkenstocks with no... just slip them right on.
Don't look back.
Oh, you hate my Birks. I forgot. You hate my Birkenstocks. All right, cool. Let's talk business here for a second, and let's talk entrepreneurship and things that are super helpful. Probably something that's both helpful in your personal life and your business life is what I'm calling a rolling cash forecast. And this is constantly forecasting out what's happening through the rest of the year on either a calendar year, quarterly, or monthly basis. You should be doing this it's easier to do it for your business because you've got business justification to do it, but also doing it in your personal life, coming up with quarterly personal financial goals, like having this amount of money in a savings account means that I got to move this amount of money to the side every month, which means that I can't spend this amount of money. And if you'd miss that goal, then at least you can calibrate and you can do a budget versus forecast, or forecast versus actuals comparison to see where you goofed up. Super helpful in a business, especially when we didn't used to do this. We used to just kind of do budgets, but now with 30 employees, it's extremely critical for always to keep our eyes on the margins, on the cash balances and payroll and all that. And we have a fantastic controller at the company, Mr. Will Kavanaugh, who does our rolling cash forecast for us on a monthly basis. So we take a look at forecast versus actuals, and then look at the rest of the year to see what our net income is going to be, what AJ and I are making, what we can afford to implement. And that way, it just helps with a ton of decisions. You can't just do one annual budget and then roll with that.
Yeah, another way of saying that is like, what's your burn rate, right? So you don't have to be a business. It's from a personal level, like what's the income coming in the door? What are your expenses? Just knowing what that is each month and knowing if there is anything left over, like that's personal finance 101. If you can do that, like you've got most of a financial plan. So yeah, that's a great one. I'm going to go with, here's an easy one. Getting a habit tracker app. For those of us like myself who are workaholics and social butterflies who just like do a bunch of stuff and don't take care of themselves, getting a habit tracker app. Shout out to you, Shane. You told me about this. It's literally just called Habit. And it's very simple, not a sophisticated interface. It just says, what do you want to do each day? I want to walk 6,000 steps. I want to take my vitamins. I want to take my pills. I want to drink enough water. I want to go to the driving range once a week. And I want to read a book for 30 minutes. And that's what I do every day. And that's just simple. And I just go in and I check a box. That's been like life-changing in terms of my hydration levels and my physical activity. So that was like
your hydration levels.
Life-saving. Like, hey, how much water have you had today? Oh, 10 ounces? You're dehydrated. And maybe that's why you're being psycho. FYI.
Yeah.
I actually recently sent our director of operations a Etsy bumper sticker that said, "Drink some water, you beautiful dehydrated bitch." H2O can solve most of the world's problems. That's my no-brainer of the week.
Yeah, I'm noticing a trend in hot girls not drinking enough water and like constantly reminding themselves. Like there's all these articles online about being dehydrated. Lots of memes about being dehydrated. Lots of girls buying those like gallon jugs of water that have like this many cups by 10 a.m., this many cups by noon. It's like, what is going on? Are you currently have one right there? Amazing.
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with it? I'll drink some goddamn water.
We're too busy making decisions. I can't drink water.
Good God. Yeah. All right. Got it. But yeah,
maybe that's why we're only making 72 cents on the dollars. We're not drinking enough water.
Right, because you're dehydrated. Have you thought of that?
Because we're dehydrated.
Have you thought about, do they run the numbers on that shit?
Yeah, where's the study showing water intake? Oh, maybe they're at the water cooler making deals, and that's why we're only making 72 cents.
Exactly.
You guys, I fixed the wage gap. All right, next. What else you got
Guys
for
are
me?
standing around the water cooler negotiating salaries. Meanwhile, y'all are in the women's bathroom talking about makeup or something. I don't know. Sorry, something less sexist maybe.
We're talking about Succession, but anyway, next one.
Oh, God.
All right, your turn. Give me a level up.
Yeah, okay, cool. Next level up, I'm going to go with summers at Brooklyn FI in general. We're currently in the middle of our summer season. We're a bit seasonal at the company. We do tax returns, and we have a year-end tax planning session, and we just try to chop up our year between spring and fall. So in the summertime, because we have advanced workloads or more deadline-focused, contracted, compressed workloads in the spring and in the fall, we like to have a really fun summer. So this year we're doing half days for about, 10 weeks, maybe 12 weeks. So we got half day
Memorial
Fridays.
Day to Labor Day. Yep.
Yeah, and then all day, I'm stealing some of yours here, and then all day on every Friday in July is a full day off. So I'm encouraging a lot of people to also take Thursdays. I'm taking every Thursday in addition every Friday this July. Just make it a really sick July. It just really helps with that undulating balance of workload. Like, it allows you to like truly disconnect and get out of the office. I mean, I'm doing our podcast here from surf camp, but
I offered.
I like to.
John was on standby.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but I was able to find this 140-degree co-working room to do the podcast from, so why wouldn't I do it? Dear listener, if you can't see me on the video,
he's sweating balls, guys.
I'm sweating entire fucking beads of sweat the size of marbles over here. But I do it for you. I do it for the people, for the listener, for our dedicated.
But also, yeah, I think like let's take that and expand it, which is like when you run a business, right? You have to run a business that can survive, right? And in order for a business like ours to survive, which has super high stress, super high intensity periods, our clients need us a lot more at the end of the year. They need us at the close of quarters when they got to sell their stock. Like, that's when our team has to be on. They're working hard. They're making decisions. Like, they need some time to chill the fuck out. Like, our clients are all on vacation right now, so a lot of our team is also on vacation. So we kind of like move with the seasons of when work needs to get done. And now is a season where work is still getting done, but it can get done on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and half of Thursday. And, I think a lot of our employees are not taking those days off and are probably working a little bit less than they do. And that is A-okay with me, honestly. Like, they work so hard the rest of the year. So I want that for them. Hey, Curtis.
Second no-brainer of the week is if you are having a conference or a getaway with your employees, always rent the cabana, especially if you're in Vegas. Rent the cabana for one of the days and just do a chill day by the pool. It'll ROI very high for you. I promise. All right, what do you got? What do you got, Allie?
What do I got here? I've got... Oh, let's talk about
the third
Gem.
time I've called you Allie in 6 years.
I think I'm going back to Allie Jane, by the way.
Okay.
I'm going with We Built Gem. Gem is global equity management. That is our internal home-built piece of software that can inventory equity. It can plan for liquidity events, IPOs. It can tell you what your taxes are going to be 10 years from now based on a decision you're making today, based on a stock price in the future. It was based on hundreds and hundreds of Excel spreadsheets that we've slaved over for 5 years. We brought a brilliant developer on, Matt, to help us build it, and we've been rolling it out with clients, and so far so good. I think it's a core part of Brooklyn FI, and Brooklyn FI, when there are liquidity events to be had, there have not been many in the past year and a half, really looking forward to being able to help a lot more people a lot faster. Your company's going public on Tuesday, no problem. Let's hop on a call. Let's pull up Gem. Let's plan out some scenarios together and help you make the best decision for your family, your equity based on the current environment.
Yeah, it's also been a lesson in like project management, right? Like if you're going to look down the barrel of a project, especially working with vendors instead of employees, like with an employee, you can fire them and replace them. With a vendor, if you fire them, there's like the potential to like have to start all over from scratch and not really know what the hell's going on, especially with source code, right? And like trying to bring someone else to understand what the hell the project was in the middle of, something, a real technical project like that. You've done the majority of the project management for Gem. Give us a high level, your takeaway, your feelings around project management of a multi-year, multi-100K software development project.
My feeling is that I understand what project managers do. And I think in hindsight, we probably should have carved off a lot more of my time to dedicate to it. And I think that was just bad planning on our part. And, it does require, it's like, it's kind of like vision integrator, right? Like where are we going? What is the purpose of this? I'm the subject matter expert. We have a person who's ready, willing, and able to build it. But like, we got to tell them every day, we got to give them constant feedback. Like, this isn't working. This is not what we wanted. It's definitely a full-time job, I would say. And I have a lot more respect for project managers who are the non-technical folks who are able to translate the needs of a subject matter expert. And I was trying to be both of those. So we'll see how it went.
I think we have an invoice for $50,000 in our invoice related to seeing how it went. Right. I'm going to do a layup here. You put this one on here. I agree with you. Getting a dog walker for Charlie. It's kind of relevant to. It's kind of relevant. Yeah. My dog. It's kind of relevant to also just like kind of working remotely, which I'll let you take working remotely. But living in Mexico and having like just making that realization that like I can afford certain things that I couldn't afford. Like moving to Mexico, first of all, spending 6 months there, I immediately went from middle class, especially moving from New York City, going from middle class to like almost upper class was a huge level up in terms of realizing how much more time I could be delegated to dog walkers, cleaners, cooking, chefs, etc. So having somebody take Charlie for a 6-hour walk every day and like getting all that time back in my day. I mean, time is, the most expensive thing, especially for an entrepreneur. I think it's been, I really miss those hours in the park, right? Like that's probably good for my mental health, but it's not like I squander my time. So yes, thank you for the dog walker for Charlie. Charlie's actually probably a lot happier now that he's got 7 buds to roll around Mexico City and sniff butts with. So, yeah.
Just to be clear, Charlie is doing the butt sniffing, not Shane. Just wanted to make that clear. Anyway, let's talk about working from anywhere. This idea that it's funny because it was not an original goal of Brooklyn or maybe it was a goal, but it was not a reality of Brooklyn FI. We were in an office. We were like clients show up in the office. We had a few remote clients back in the day, but I would say less than 5% of our clients. Everyone was coming in the office. We were meeting everybody. They were getting on the train, taking Ubers to our WeWork in South Williamsburg. COVID changed everything. We sent everybody home and never looked back. And that's just been an incredible level up for the business, absolutely, and for our lives, I would say. Being able to pivot to being a fully remote company in the span of 3 days when other companies took weeks and some are still struggling with that, being able to do that and continue to serve our clients better. Our clients can get meetings faster. Our clients can have meetings with their kids sitting on their lap or their dog barking. Like, I'm down with that. Like, I feel like clients apologize all the time. They're like, I'm so sorry, my kid's here. I'm like, no problem. We're talking about their college education. Bring them in. Let's all hang. That's been such an incredible level up. And COVID, for all the damage it did, gave us all the permission that it's okay to work from home and it's okay to have your life sometimes interfere with your workstation and it's just okay. And we gave like a collective, like cutting each other a little bit more slack. So I've loved that. I'm in London right now with my husband. Wouldn't have been able to travel to London and work remotely 4 years ago. That just wouldn't have been a possibility. And you're in fucking Mexico at surf camp. So
yeah, and I'm going to be in Ireland and Sweden and Spain and Switzerland and then back to New York over the next few months. Which it is an amazing life. Yeah, and I wish more of our employees would take advantage of it. But one thing that is also, I get this question a lot, like, how do you guys manage that? Like, you've got it, like, I'll be working, like, well, when do you work or when do your employees work? And it's one of the other items that we discovered maybe 18 months ago was this concept of core hours. Because we had folks on Pacific time, Pacific Standard Time, and then Eastern Standard Time, and I was probably in Ireland or whatever, and then we've got
on British summertime at the moment.
Oh my God. Anyway, so Where are you in relation to the prime meridian? We like to joke about one thing that AJ's not autistic
Cheers.
about is geography. Yeah, there she goes. 2 more martinis and she'll know exactly where the prime meridian is. That's the prime martini, the prime martinian. Anyway,
Always close to that.
I talked to a lot of, over the last few conferences I've been to, I've talked to a lot of firm owners that are just like kind of getting started with remote work, which is kind of important, or like kind of necessary even for small teams at this point, because you're just able to compete much more easily with bigger firms that have higher salaries, et cetera. So offering remote is really important. So like, when do you guys work together? You obviously can't work the same 8 hours all day. So this concept of core hours where you just try to you make it clear when I need to be able to reach you over, let's say, a 4-hour time frame. And as long as you get your work done outside that time frame, or you can walk your dog or whatever the hell it is, like the things that need to happen, or like I know I need to have you available. I think our core hours at Brooklyn of Fire are like 12 to 4 Eastern, right? Because we got Pacific people that 9 a.m. works for them. And then you can like kind of shift your 8-hour stretch over those 4 hours of core hours. Do you agree on that core hours being an actual big unlock for remote work?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm in London right now. It's almost 9 o'clock at night. Like that, we're recording this podcast at this time, but like the rest of this week, like I logged on a bit earlier. I got my shit done and I had 4 hours of work with meetings on the East Coast, and it's worked really great. Actually, it's kind of fun working late once in a while. You know, it's like this morning I like walked around, went to a museum. Like this life kind of suits me.
Right on. If you're happy, I'm happy.
Speaking of, if you're happy, I'm happy. The right company credit card. So I've been trying to get Shane to switch to Delta for years, and finally he saw the light, and we switched our company credit cards to Delta Reserve Amexes, and now Shane has seen the light of the Delta Lounge and the Diamond Platinum, or the Platinum Medallion experience, and we're never going back. Once you go.
Once you go bougie.
Love Delta.
Let me save you there. Let me interject. Pull you back from the cliff's edge there. Nabil walks in right when you say that.
Yeah.
Once you go black card, you never go back.
You never go back.
Yeah. Yeah. Huge
what you got for me?
Huge fan of the committing to one airline. It doesn't always work, but when someone treats you like a king, then it is really nice. Yeah, what do I have for you? Let's see. I think I'm going to go with building an enterprise business on purpose and being intentional about that from the jump. You know, you and I started, just the two of us, back in 2018, really 2017, trying to figure out what the hell we were going to make. And we really had two decisions: build a lifestyle practice or build an enterprise practice, which is all about trying to, a lifestyle is all about trying to take off as many days per year that you can and make as much income as you can from that business, but not really try to grow it beyond your own self, maybe a few employees. Whereas an enterprise practice is obviously intended to scale beyond the owners, and try to build as much of a standalone business that can run without the owners as possible. And you and I started off with that intention back in 2018 to build a enterprise, which meant that everything that we built took a little bit extra development time, a little bit extra work, a little bit extra project management to make sure that it could be delegated to somebody else. And almost every decision we've made around when we need to hire people is focused on, if I'm good at something, then I need to delegate it. Because if I'm too good at it and I don't delegate it, no one else gets that opportunity to get good at it. So we need to delegate and elevate all of our employees constantly. And I think because of that focus, we also were able to focus on bringing on as many clients along with our employees and grow into one of the Inc. 5000 and the Financial Times top 500 fastest growing companies. Let's see if that growth continues into the future. But I think that intentionality around the business, we might have got lucky. I would argue that we've gotten very lucky, in our past, and not everything all the growth that we've experienced is obviously 100% related to intention and commitment and hard work. Of course, there's a lot of there's luck involved in everything. So I want to make sure that we allocate the.
Of course, yeah. I think it was very much a right place, right time. We're good at equity compensation. We got way better at it, and IPOs had their best year ever in 2021, and we were very well positioned to take advantage of that and help a lot of people to very successful liquidity events that changed a lot of lives. So I feel very grateful for that market condition, but also very proud of the work that we did, and super excited for all of our clients who went through that life planning and actually had the answer to that first life planning question, imagine money is no object. A lot of our clients actually have that in reality. They have that financial independence. Imagine you have everything you need. All of your needs are taken care of. What do you do with your life? ? And it's a scary question, right? A lot of people want to get to that point. There's all the statistics about people who retire early. They retire at 55, and the second day of retirement, they're bored because they have all the money and they can do whatever they want, and they're not needed. They don't have purpose because they've spent so much of their lives going to an office and having to do someone else's bidding. So it's a really interesting question, that idea of financial independence. Like, do you need to have, in our current mood of society, do you need to have something that you're working towards in order to be happy? Whether it's a golf handicap, fixing up a vintage boat, or building a multi-million-dollar business. I think you can have it all. I think that's a new version of having it all, is that you're successful and you're needed in business, but you're also able to dedicate time and love and attention to the things that you care about outside of work.
Hell yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. Amen, sister. You want to do two more?
Sure. Yeah, let's keep going. Fuck it.
Cool.
Let's do it live.
Fuck it.
Fuck it. I want a martini.
We're going until you finish that martini.
All right, here's one. Are you ready? As I'm on my soapbox, you said this to me the other day. We were at a conference and talking to all these people, and we've had a lot of success, but you and I have also worked really fucking hard. We have put in the hours, we have put in the blood, sweat, and tears, and at the end of the day, we're nice people. I don't think we can dilute how important it is just to be a kind, empathetic person in everything you do, whether it's dealing with clients, dealing with employees, dealing with each other. You and I get in tiffs all the time, but at the end of the day, we love and trust each other. So it's we care about each other, so we're going to be nice and move the business forward and move each other forward. And I think you see a lot of these very successful leaders that, I think they started out nice, but they get to a point where they're just so above the clouds and so far removed from day-to-day interactions that they forget how to be human. And I hope that we continue to do that. You come and talk to me if you stop me in the hallway at a conference and talk to me, of course I'll talk to you. I have time for you. And if I don't have time, I'll give you my business card and say, email me later. I think making time for, this is going to be contradictory to your essentialism, but just keeping an open mind and just assuming the best in people and presenting the best version of yourself is so important in business. And just that weirdly, just being nice and friendly, I think has gotten us so far. Not being a dick, honestly.
Yeah. I've got two things to say about that. One is that I don't know what it is about our monkey brains or what it is about our lack of memory, but you don't remember what people say to you. It's really hard to remember people's names, but one thing you do remember is how people make you feel, right? You'll see somebody 2 or 3 years later after you met them, and you just remember how that person made you feel, right? Even if you don't remember what they said or what they do, but you just get that vibe from somebody. And if somebody makes you feel good, you remember that. If somebody makes you feel threatened or weak or small or marginalized, you're going to remember that forever. And a great way to close the door on opportunities is to not have an open door to other people, right? To make them feel warm and accepted, which can be hard when you yourself might feel vulnerable or small, especially I'm going to talk about, my next one's going to be attending conferences, but that's a great place to make other people feel great about themselves. It's a place where people feel vulnerable and they feel overwhelmed and they feel like they might be a small fish in a big pond or something like that. But all of those commitments you give or all of those handshakes and warmth that you can provide to people, making them feel good is going to pay you in spades, and karma is real in that space for sure. I forgot the other thing I was going to say. So
attending conferences?
No. There was something else about being nice and staying humble for sure, but I forget what it is. Anyway, yeah, I would also like to piggyback off that and say that attending conferences has been a game changer for both of us. And not attending conferences, like going for the technical expertise or what have you is great, and like picking up, how to handle S corps or how to go through a sales pitch or whatever it is at conferences can be really great. But my big unlock for sure at conferences has just been creating, is meeting other people outside of the Kool-Aid that you drink, or the Kool-Aid that you swim in, is the analogy that I'm going to use here. Like, I used to work at PwC. There was thousands of employees there, and we drank our own Kool-Aid. I never went to conferences where people from Deloitte or any other company worked, or mid-sized companies or smaller companies, but then started working at a mid-sized firm and going to conferences just to better myself and meet other people in the field. And then you get to swim in all these other people's Kool-Aid, so to speak, and you get to realize that the dogma of your firm is just that, the dogma of your firm, and there's many other ways to live. And especially when you're an entrepreneur, you need to, it's just, in my mind, entrepreneurism is just turning over 1 million stones so that under 10 of them you can find what works for your company, right? And you just got to be constantly turning over stones to figure out what is perfect for your clients or your niche or your employees or your whatever the hell it is. And the only way that you're going to be able to turn over all the stones is by going to conferences and talking to other entrepreneurs, other employees, other vendors, whatever it is. So, I mean, I would argue that Brooklyn FI might not have ever become a thing, like unless I had gone to the conference and met Marcus Strinos, who said, man, you're ready to go out there and start that firm. And then when I met you, I felt ready because of him. And then you and I launched Brooklyn FI. So yeah, I think attending conferences is a huge unlock. If you're not currently doing it, or if you've never done it before, highly encourage it. Even if you're just an employee, or sorry for the just there. Even if you're an employee and you need to get exposed to other ways that problems are solved at other companies to increase your value to your company.
And I will add, if you think conferences are a waste of time and you don't have a good experience at conferences, please email me directly and I will give you 10 bullet points of how to have a great conference experience. Yeah. Because I do hear that from a lot of really smart people that I respect, and they're like, oh, I'm not going to that conference, it's a waste of time. And I'm like, what? That's so insane. I went to a conference in San Diego where John, our director of planning, was presenting, and I literally met this guy randomly in the exhibit hall. And he came up to me and he's like, oh, you guys are from Brooklyn FI, da-da-da. And I don't remember how we got to talking, but he was like, oh, you got to use this tool. It's amazing. You can look up all the contacts. And I was like, oh, word, I'll file that away. And it ended up being this like insane unlock for our client process. And that was just literally a random tip. And I wouldn't have found that any other way. And like, that was worth the, I don't know, $2,500 I paid to go to that conference and stay in a shitty hotel room.
Yeah.
It was just like so insane. And look, there have been some dud conferences for sure. But if you go to 5, like, I don't know, just the ROI for us is great. So if you're struggling with getting a lot of value out of conferences, talk to us because we can help you out.
Yeah. I feel like it's like love. Like, you're not going to find it when you're looking for it, but as soon as you stop looking for it, that's something shows up like that.
Oh, is that your TED Talk?
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome, listener. Conferences are like romance. That's it. That's like
you show up, you get drunk, and everyone gets hurt. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's like not no.
Speaking of getting a lot of value out of something, so something that we've not always, what was it, 2020 that we implemented the EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. I think it was 2020. And I'm not going to go into it. Read the book Traction. It's great if you run a business, whether you're one person or 100 people. It's a theory of running your business that you should check in once a week, and you have these bigger 90-day goals.
A framework, if you will.
Thank you. Yeah. A framework, an architecture. We read the book. We tried to implement it. We did a mediocre job at it, and then we hired someone whose life's work is basically to help businesses implement this system. A very passionate and wonderful individual, shout out to you, Ben, who just really helped us as a leadership team see the forest from the trees, really understand the process and use it to its fullest extent. And really, like, what are we focused on this quarter? What are the big problems, issues, exciting things in the business that we need to do? What direction are we rowing in? Like, what are we doing here? So shout out to the EOS implementer network. If you are using EOS and doing it poorly, highly recommend that you get an implementer. That was definitely a level up for us in 2022, continuing into this year. All right, one more from you.
I'm going to go with my favorite one, which we didn't really dig into, which is finding a business partner. Finding a business partner that is the right partner for your business is worth millions. I mean, it's invaluable. There's no way to value the right person to join you on the crazy journey of entrepreneurship with its ups and downs. I don't know how people do it alone. I don't know how people accomplish the vicissitudes of life as an entrepreneur, the clients that fire you, the employees that quit, the negative feedback you get from somebody that tries to sue, like some vendor that tries to sue you because you didn't realize that the contract was for a certain, whatever it is that comes up. The insanity of business ownership is overwhelming, and to find that person that really helps you go through the decisions, the difficult decisions, the difficult ups and downs is truly a diamond in the rough. And I've got my diamond in the rough here on the podcast with me today, folks. Raise
cheers
your
to
glasses and cheers to you, AJ.
Cheers to you, Shane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that right back at you. Neither of us put that here, but I think both of us, it's just so obvious. We wouldn't need to say it in a list of 100. That's the one thing that matters, right? Mm-hmm. That's the only thing. It's interesting because it is so much about trust. And you and I have gone through so many different stages of trust. Initially, it was literally blind trust. It was, you seem like a smart, ambitious person. You seem to kind of have your shit together. I like some of your ideas. Okay, let's do this insane thing that's going to uproot both of our lives, be potentially damaging financially for at least a few years. And let's try to do this thing that neither of us have done before. Neither of us really know how to do. We both have sort of unique skills that may or may not be complementary. We have no idea. Some business books told us they might be. Like, let's just take a leap of faith. So I think like having a business partner who's willing to take the same amount of risk is probably a good initial step you can take. Like, yes, you should get along, you should have a drink, you should, see if you guys are compatible, but like, are you able to take the same amount of risk? We hear so many stories of business partnerships failing because, someone's life circumstances change. And you and I have been really fortunate that we've been able to take that risk, right? And we've had support from other places. We've had so much support from each other to just be able to say, let's fucking do this. Like, can't take a salary this quarter, like, ugh, but that sucks. Like, not going to make our IRA contribution this year. Like, you know what? This is more important. I'm more excited about building this tool than, this tiny contribution to my retirement. And luckily we're financial planners, so we know we can tell exactly what impact that's going to have on our eventual wealth. But
calculated risk is our forte. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure. So cheers to you. Cheers to 100 episodes of the Liquidity event. It's been real, folks. We'll see you for another 100. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. We'll see you next week. Thank you for listening.
Bye.